This is Don't Panic, episode number 235, recorded March 11th, 2019. In Zuck, we trust. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Don't Panic, the technology podcast on gadgets, the internet, you. I am Sean Jennings, joined as always by a couple of guys who were up to no good, started making trouble in the neighborhood. I've definitely used that one before, but it's timeless.
That's okay.
Colby Rabideau, Dan Miller.
Hi.
A couple of guys who are trapped somewhere in the daylight saving zone.
Yep.
Dum dum dum.
I've saved so much daylight.
Colby saved so much daylight, it's already 2020 where he's at.
Whoa, what's it like?
Warmer.
Okay.
No, I don't know. I'm not really into
More
it.
Is all you're
tired,
gonna tell
probably.
us?
Yes, that's all I'm going to tell you. It's warmer. Oh God, what is even going to happen this year?
It's
Is there an
worse.
Olympics?
There will be
Is there?
2020. We're
Yeah.
going to be in Tokyo for the Summer Games.
Tokyo. Yeah, maybe I'm there.
Wait, maybe
I'm
Sean's
in
in the
Tokyo.
future. How did he know that?
Dan, I have these visions, okay? And I saw Japan and I saw
Everyone
sprinters.
knows that they randomly select where the Olympics is going to be
Like-
pretty much year of.
Yeah, we're like
Right.
2 weeks before. Like, hey, we're stopping by, just letting you know.
Right, and you just have to scramble and put it all together.
I think that would actually probably be more fun. But could
It
you
would
imagine
be like an event in and of itself.
Yeah, you just block off a few streets. Like, could you imagine doing that with the Winter Olympics? Like, oh, by the way, we need a luge track. Can you just, like, make us a luge track?
I mean, there must be luge tracks someplace in the world, right?
Yes.
They have to exist.
Yeah, in places where they've already done them, absolutely. Goes back to one of my few good ideas, Olympic Island. Have we talked? We've definitely talked about this on the show, haven't we?
Is that just the man-made island where they just do the Olympics?
All the nations pitch in the money, and they build a permanent Olympic island for the summer and winter games, and they just go there every time. And then the cities don't have to spend money every time. I still think that's a good idea.
It's a pretty good.
Stand
idea.
by that.
Or alternative idea instead. No, this is not. I'm sorry. This is not an alternative to your idea, Sean. This is compatible with your idea.
Okay.
However, I think it would be great if Olympic sports, or at least if there were some Olympic events where you couldn't, like, no one was allowed to do them except at the Olympics. So you were not allowed to practice this sport. But you can, I don't know, I guess train in some secondary way. But then you can go to the Olympics and do the thing. But that's the only time the thing happens.
Kind of like
Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that you couldn't really do this, Colby. If people knew what it was, then there would be some way for them to train for it. Like, Russia would construct like an underground facility that exactly mimics whatever this setup is. So I think it has to be that they do not know what game that is that they'll be playing until they get.
So you invent every Olympics, a new game is invented.
Right. It's like the freestyle event or something like that.
Right.
Or it could be like a list of like 30 events. And so you can't be expert in all 30. So it's like this year, figure skating. Next year, skateboarding. And you're like, whoa, okay. You know, you're just thrown for a loop. Next year, discus.
Nice.
It's not the Iron Man. It's Iron Man because you literally have to be Iron Man to succeed in this.
I'm down for that. I like watching people. Have you guys ever watched the World's Strongest Man competitions?
No.
Oh, these are great. I love these. They don't do them as much anymore. They used to run them on ESPN 8 all the time, but it was they claimed the World's Strongest Man. It wasn't really any kind of official contest, but it would just be guys doing random things that required strength. They'd be like, pull a train car like 100 feet. And like, who's the strongest guy to do that? They'd be like, lift this tire and carry it over just like doing hard strength things. But it was always mostly fat guys and not buff guys, and I never understood that. Maybe this is such a specific reference, only I get it, but I
feel like I've seen a thing where like someone pulls a truck or something.
Yeah, and World's Strongest Man.
The good old tractor pull.
Yeah, and they like use their teeth or something like that.
Or what about the Celtic games? Have you ever seen the Celtic games where they have to
Those I have seen.
where they have to
Bro.
toss the pole, or they have to get the bale of hay up and over the marker?
Yes.
Aren't there like the lumberjack games too?
Oh, those are great with the chainsaws, and they've got to cut through the logs really fast.
Yep. Yep. Do you think they all have to use the same chainsaw?
I would like to imagine you can like bring your own from home.
I bet it's like baseball where you kind of have your own bat and you're juicing it up a little bit. You're sharpening each teeth individually. You have like a world-renowned chainsaw sharpener. Each of your chainsaw teeth is actually made out of diamonds.
You know, that actually does bring up an actual real question I have, which is, unlike these hilarious jokes we've been telling, in sports that, so like the actual sport of biathlon or the in the outdoor games, they do have a shooting component to those, target shooting, skeet shooting. Do you bring your own gun?
That is a good question.
Especially in like Olympic biathlon, skiing and shooting. In that, it all seems like they have the same gun, but they wouldn't like just have a bunch of guns and like, oh, just grab one of the guns from the gun pile. You know, just any one. Just they're all in the cubbies over there. Just take one.
That'd be pretty funny. I bet they all own their own gun, but it has to be. I bet there are like parameters. Like your thing has to be within these parameters.
Sure. Well, I just can't imagine the paperwork to have to like fly internationally with these guns to this event.
That's true.
I've never thought about that.
Oh, that's for sure an interesting question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just leave it at that.
I saw the Olympic trials. Oh, maybe it wasn't the Olympic trials, but Colby and I saw an archery competition in Copenhagen.
Oh yeah,
it was pretty cool.
I remember that. That was cool.
Now, was it one of those where they put an apple on top of Colby's head and they had to shoot it off?
Yes, I lived to tell the tale.
Didn't even get to eat the apple,
came close
too.
to death twice in that trip.
It just nicked my ear.
That's exciting. Archery's fun. That's a fun sport.
It is fun.
I've never tried it. Have either of you tried archery?
Yes.
I think so. I think I've arched.
Is that to arch? Is that the verb?
What is the verb? Arrowed?
You've arched? Is that the past? Going arching?
We have lots of good questions.
We need can we get like an intern for the show whose job it is to like Google stuff for us while we're doing the show?
Wow, there's an archerytalk.com forum thread about how archery needs a verb.
Okay. Well, this seems like a great creative exercise for us.
Yeah.
I mean, I think arching is the obvious one.
But what?
Yeah, but people don't like that here because they're saying it's like they might think you're doing yoga.
Arching? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, doing yoga or architecture.
You practice archery by shooting arrows, just like how you practice soccer by kicking a ball.
Yes, what's the action of when you play soccer and you shoot archery? So I guess it would be shoot. You shooted.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we all know where this ends.
Gosh darn it, I went shoot it all over. That's good. Are there any other interesting discussions on the archery forums there? Any other big archery controversies?
Let's see.
What's the buzz? What's the hot topic?
Okay. This is gonna take a second. I'm gonna go to archerytalk.com.
Who we're giving a lot of free plugs to tonight.
A lot of free plugs. Okay, well, Sean, what do you want to know about? Let me give you some options. Bow hunting, brand-specific archery forums, traditional archery, disabled archers, senior archers, DIY equipment.
DIY equipment. I want to see DIY equipment. Yes.
Excellent choice.
Now, can we sort this by replies? We absolutely can. So the number one most replied to post on DIY was the comprehensive DIY compound bowstring / cable making guide.
Why would you make your own cable?
Well,
That's
DIY.
Probably what a lot of these people are asking.
Yeah, this guy's got a lot of pictures. He's got I see that his living room here. He's got some guitars, and he has this huge contraption. He's building his own archery strings. That's pretty cool.
Let me
Oh,
ask you,
here's someone made a $20 bow press, whatever that is.
a bow press? I've seen those advertised on the infomercials on TV. The bow press, working out.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let me ask you guys a slight pivot on this, because this is an interesting
Okay.
thought, okay, about DIY. If you had the time and the ability to build anything, what would you choose to build?
Okay, let me walk
Colby
you.
is muted.
Oh, I know. Anything.
Don't say a skyscraper, because that's ridiculous, but something you could plausibly build with an unlimited budget and unlimited time, and not necessarily having to know that. If you wanted to say, you want to craft fine china out of clay, I'll give you credit for that, but don't say something, build a space shuttle, because that's crazy.
I would want. So my thought process is I would want it to be practical.
Okay.
I would want it to be if I have unlimited time, I would want it to be significant and practical. Because if you could fill your life with like making ceramic pots. I'm looking for like a magnum opus DIY project.
Totally. You blow it out. Don't think too small.
And so I think building a house would be great. If you built every part of the house from scratch, that would be something that would last hopefully a long time.
Sure.
It would be very useful, and it would be something that you couldn't perhaps do. I don't know. I guess you could pay someone to build something to your exact specifications, or something that's really complicated. Like, I wouldn't drive around this car, but build a car that I could like put around the backyard.
Like a dune buggy.
Like a Mad Max dune buggy thing.
Yeah.
Just like flames that shoot out the top. It moves at like 5 miles an hour max speed. With
But flames.
you get like 1/10 of a mile per gallon. Yeah.
That's a good call.
How about it.
How about Sean? Have you thought about this, or is this just a question that you posed?
I literally just thought this up. I would say, for me, I definitely think it would be something surprising. I want to surprise people with what I make. I don't want people to be like, well, of course he made that. So I would say either a beautiful golden harp,
Okay.
or a like giant 2-story tall graffiti mural. Because I don't think people would expect me to make either of those.
I think that's true.
Like street art, like Sean Jennings street art.
So you would make all of the street art?
Yeah, I want
Okay.
just a big like 2-story tall blank wall that I could just go hog wild on, and I'm gonna do authentic street art, edgy stuff, really capture the feeling of the streets.
Mm-hmm. Now, would this be your street or the streets?
Oh no,
know?
This is the street. You know where I'm from, Dan. The streets.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are definitely streets where you're from.
I think when people talk about embodying the vibe of the streets, they look to me. Okay. So I think I got what's going on downtown.
I can't argue with that.
Dan, I know one of us is a city guy. Well, I'll just leave it at that. And so that's what I would do. Something ridiculous. Something surprising. What about you, Colby?
I would build scale models of like the 7 wonders of the world.
Yeah. That's like the best. That's such a good, because it's like useful and you could like show it off.
Yeah. And they'd be like really big, like obviously not full size, but like big, not like tiny.
Like half size.
Right. Maybe 3/4, depending on the thing.
Yeah. I love it. Colby, you do
That's
strike me
my
as a guy
point.
who would like buy. Why is Colby buying 1,000 acres in Montana? Oh, he'll show you. And then you go there and they're like, is
Just
that a
wait.
pyramid? It's huge. That would be
Yep.
fun. You could open your own little amusement park.
Yeah, I feel like I need to like work harder if I'm gonna do that. But
It's a noble dream.
it is.
This is an absolute true story. The man who was the best man at my father's wedding up in, I think it's New Hampshire or Maine, he was like a contractor, and he built a house that he did live in, or maybe he sold it since, but he did live in it for a while. That was essentially a scale replica of the White House. Like literally, it
Whoa.
looked from the outside exactly like the White House to scale. I mean, it wasn't like a 1-to-1 scale, but it was like everything was like accurate.
Did he build it himself?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been like featured on TV and stuff. I don't even know if this was years ago. I don't even know if it's still there, but he was thought that would be fun, and so he just did it. So, if anyone's looking to own a little piece of the White House,
That is fun.
yeah. I mean, if you have the ability, again, if you have the time and the ability, go nuts.
I like it. I like it.
If you could live in a replica of any famous landmark, which would it be? This is fun. We could just do this all night. This is
Well,
like a
okay, but there are so many bad options, right? Like, you wouldn't want to live in a replica of the pyramids of Giza. That would be extremely uncomfortable.
That's true.
You wouldn't want to live in the Eiffel Tower. That would super suck.
That was gonna be my choice.
No, I think that would be. Why would that suck?
Okay, there's not that much space, and it's very unprotected from the elements, except for the very top part.
No,
Like-
I'm saying the outside looks like it. I'm not saying it's like
Oh.
exactly. You know, it's like the Eiffel Tower, except at the top there's like a 1-bedroom apartment. You know.
Sure, but could I feel like if you could make the pyramids of Giza and then just hollow out the inside and put wherever you want,
That's
that would be
fine.
the obvious
That's a good
option. Unless
choice.
you did like Mount Rushmore and then you have like an airplane hangar that comes out of Lincoln's mouth or something.
That would be great. That's a good choice. These are all good choices.
Okay, I'm coming around to this.
I would build the St. Louis Arch, and then I would live at the top.
Have you seen the St. Louis Arch, Sean?
I have not, only in pictures. I was pulling when we did the landmarks bracket on Up for Debate. I was desperately pulling for the St. I love the St. Louis Arch.
It's surprisingly impressive. Like, I've seen it 2 times, and when I got there the first time, I was expecting it to be like 100% unremarkable. Like, oh, look, an arch. But like, there's something about it, like it's very shiny and metallic, and it's huge. It's absolutely huge. I just like standing under it. It's pretty impressive. So yeah, I can get on board with that.
Did you know when they were building the St. Louis Arch, they started at the 2 points at the bottom and built it up to the top? And there were people extremely confident that it was impossible to make the 2 points match up perfectly at the top. They didn't think it was scientifically possible. There were people who set up time-lapse cameras, and this was when they built it, that wasn't really a thing, to embarrass them when they built the whole arch, and they missed each other at the top. And they fit perfectly. It's neat. It's very neat. Gateway
I wonder
Tours.
what like the margin of error was. Like, how much did they have to like?
Well, this was another thing where, and I might be getting this a little bit wrong, but the sort of unveiling ceremony, like a current or former president was there to open it, and they were going to put the very last piece on the top to sort of open it, and it was off by like a couple, just enough to be an issue. So what they actually did was what did they do? They warmed up the bricks right around there to kind of expand them to just shift it enough so they could get that last piece in.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, you know some stuff about the St. Louis Arch.
We studied up for that episode. I'm a big fan of the St. Louis Arch. It's highly illegal to fly an airplane under it. You will go to prison. And people have
How
done
many
it.
times has it been done though?
Oh,
That's the real
I
question.
think one time it was done like with an official sanction, and then there've been a handful of more times people have done it, and it is like super illegal. They shut that shit down because it's like
amazing.
perfectly made to fly through.
Right, it's like the obvious thing to do. Here's a huge
I
arch.
wanna
What do
do
you
it.
do? Fly through
It's
it.
great. It's big enough. Anyway, that's enough about the St. Louis Arch. Would you guys like to talk about some tech news?
Hang on, wait. Multiple people have also flown underneath the Eiffel Tower
Oh, in airplanes?
in airplanes.
Oh, that's great.
Wow.
Well, I know there was someone who famously flew under the Brooklyn Bridge.
What? Okay, that feels even crazier.
That was like way back when they first opened. That was, way back when they first opened it. That was a long time ago.
This is like an action movie.
Yeah. Well, that was back in that era in the 20s and 30s where like stunt pilots were doing crazy shit because planes were new.
It's like, oh, what can we do?
That was back when air stunts was like a big goddamn deal to the public.
Mm.
They don't do that as much anymore.
For shame.
No.
I don't understand if this was legal to fly underneath the Eiffel Tower.
I can't imagine it is. Now, it may have been an official sanctioned thing, but I would be shocked if that's legal. I would doubt it's probably not even legal to fly under the Brooklyn Bridge. I don't think any kind of
how would that be legal?
any kind of landmark like that. I can't imagine.
Well, I'm just curious. Yeah, if it was sanctioned.
Because there's a lot of stuff you can do with planes as long as you have the FAA's permission.
Oh, here's someone playing Microsoft Flight Simulator and flying a 747 through the St. Louis Arch.
Okay, so it can be done. Could you?
It
God,
is- yeah, you could have the space for it, I think.
could you imagine
But
how
you have to tilt it. You have to tilt it on its side in order to fit through.
Oh, damn.
that would be? Could you imagine how terrifying it would be? You're standing underneath the St. Louis Arch and you see a goddamn 747 on its side flying towards the arch, and you're like, "There's no way in hell it's gonna make it under this thing," and it amazingly does.
That would be pretty terrifying.
Now I'm just going to be watching lots of videos of...
Flight Simulator. Oh no, we've turned Dan onto a new hobby.
This drone got pretty close here. So you could imagine what it might be like. Oh, come on. That's such a lame video.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Well, I'm gonna take a second crack at pivoting us over to tech news for the week.
Do we have to? Okay.
I know.
The videos are so much fun.
I
Okay,
agree.
let's do it.
But listening to Dan watch videos, unfortunately,
That's not good radio?
unfortunately not.
I'm amazed.
That'll be our spin-off show. Dan watches YouTube videos. No, we've got a whole bunch of stories here in the rundown. We got Apple, and we've got Disney, and we've got Zuckerberg, and we've got Philadelphia. We've got everything. Where would we like to start?
Can we follow up on the phone?
We
The
can.
portless phone?
You bet you bet. No, we're going to follow up. We have a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month or two ago on the show, we talked about the world's first holeless phone, the Meizu Zero. It was a phone with no ports, no openings. It was available on Indiegogo for $1,299 from the company Meizu. It had all sorts of crazy stuff, in-screen sound technology and in-display, fingerprint sensor, wireless charging, all the things that make it so it didn't have a port. Shockingly enough, the device that we all said, that's crazy, doesn't actually exist. Meizu CEO Jack Wong admitted that the recent crowdfunding campaign was a little more than a publicity stunt. Quote, "This crowdfunding project was just the marketing team messing about. The holeless phone is just a development project from the R&D department. We never intended to mass produce this project. The Indiegogo never hit its $100,000 funding goal, so no one will actually get charged."
Wait, I could have Indiegogo'd it?
Yes, that's where it was being sold at. Yep.
So, as a marketing person, Sean, do you think this was a good marketing? What did he call it? Scheme, ploy?
He called it the marketing team messing about.
Messing about. Do you think this was a positive messing about? Is this going to pay off for them?
I think it would have been a disaster had they actually taken people's money, but no, I think it's fine because it is. I'm not a fan of the stunt that has like nothing to do with your product or business. But like this is like, hey, look, we're actually eventually going to make this phone. So, I think I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Okay.
It gets the Meizu name out there. I mean, we're talking about it. So, are you really disappointed, Dan?
Yeah, I wanted one.
Sad Dan is sad. I mean, if only we'd known, we could have backed the Kickstarter. They only got 45% of their goal.
Yeah.
Oh.
It wasn't Kickstarter though; it was Indiegogo, right?
That's what I meant.
Doesn't Indiegogo you actually take the money even if you don't reach the goal?
Well, apparently, and I'm just reading this from the Verge article, I don't know, but it says here, Meizu set a fixed funding goal rather than the flexible goals used by the majority of Indiegogo projects. So the campaign ended without any backers losing their money. Had it been a flexible goal, they would have taken the money regardless.
Well, that was kind of them, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really, in general, recommend a company announce an awesome product that they're not going to sell, because I think you're just going to kind of bum people out. But when you're a company like Meizu, who I don't even know what else they sell, I don't know how they could disappoint people. I'm going to go to their website. I literally have no idea what they make.
Do they have a forum where people talk about...
They've got phones. They've got the Meizu X8, the Meizu M8 Lite, the Meizu 16, the Note 8, which it sounds like a Samsung phone, so I don't know how they can do that.
Are they all Indiegogo campaigns?
Yeah, maybe they're all fake. What a twist. Oh, their website is not written well. Because it says here, Meizu 16, affordable luxury product. Like, okay.
You know what? Actually, that's how I like my products in both aspects. If I could get them affordable and luxurious, hey.
Dan, I'm literally gonna... Okay, I have to read some of the Meizu website. This is amazing. This is the Meizu 16, which is a phone, a 6-inch phone. It says, it has true full screen, more eye-catching, more handy. This is an aesthetic design resulting from our persistence and your personality. Whatever that means.
On the front page, there's one section that says the M8 International Hot Sale.
This is amazing. The in-screen next-gen optical fingerprint module will delight you.
I want to be delighted.
Yeah, I'm going to order one of these Meizu phones.
So are these in-screen fingerprint sensors, that's the real deal? Does the new Samsung have one of those too?
Yes, it does. Yeah, the new what are we on now? 12? The S10, 12? S12 has them, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So,
whoa.
Unfortunately...
Where to buy?
No. Yeah, I also don't know if you can buy any of these.
The where to buy page seems to be in Chinese.
Okay, well that says it all. Oh, they have a smart scale. The Smart Body Fat Scale. Helping you stay in shape.
Smart Body Fat.
Yeah, this is not great.
I know.
Okay. Anyway, now we're getting back to us reading things on the internet. So
it's compelling.
Our radio skills are just getting worse by the day. So no portless phones yet. Although Dan, do we still have our bet for the iPhones this year?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that reminds me. Okay, I'm gonna get us off the rails here, but I was going through my stacks and stacks of note cards I have literally
5 cards
everywhere. And do you guys remember we placed bets a long time ago as to when we thought MoviePass was gonna fold?
Ooh, yeah.
Do you vaguely... Now, first of all, are they still in business? Do we know?
I looked up recently, and I think they are still in business.
Okay, well, that's good for one of us because we placed bets based on these dates. It was sometime midsummer. And I had them going out the earliest at September 31st, so they really outlasted me. Dan, you said early November, so they really outlasted you. Colby said Q1 2019, so he has till the end of the month. If they go out this month, Colby wins. So
I am a tech luminary.
hang in there.
30 under 30.
Yes.
Colby's a one under one. He's number one. He's doing great. No, so anyway, not to get us off topic, but I did find that. So I just wanted to say, Colby, you're still in it.
Amazing. This is really all I ever hoped for.
Picking when companies go out of business.
Yes.
A positive message.
Yes.
Let's see. What else in here is worth chatting about?
Well, we should probably talk... Oh, we should talk about the Facebook thing. We should talk about the Apple stuff.
The Apple stuff will be quick because it's just the event, more or less.
Yeah, that's true.
Guys, it's showtime.
It is?
It's showtime.
I thought it was HBO.
No, it's not HBO. It's Apple. A March 25th event coming soon. What day of the week is that? Oh, it's a Monday. That's good for us.
Ooh, wow.
We'll finally be on time with an announcement.
This is so non-traditional.
Hot and fresh. Apple TV March 25th event. The invite went out today with the tag, "It's Showtime." What does that mean? Well, we assume it means the rollout of their big new TV service they've been spending billions of dollars to make content for that we haven't seen yet. We may also see the release of the Apple News subscription service. Also, we've heard rumors about a little bit of hardware, including revamped AirPods, a new entry-level iPad, and the long-delayed AirPower wireless charging pad, all of which could come to us soon. It's Showtime was the same tagline they used in 2006 when they announced the Apple TV. Fun fact, do you guys remember the name they launched the Apple TV with?
No.
It was iTV.
It was iTV in the very first announcement, and then thank God they renamed it, because that name is bad. Yeah.
Wow.
That's about it. Any thoughts on the event here? Anything we want to see, don't want to see? Predictions?
What is there any chance? Like, what would they have to do to get you to pay another X dollars a month for some TV stuff?
I don't think exclusive shows are going to do it for me because there's already so many prestige shows on platforms I already pay for that I haven't watched that I'm not going to... The only way it works is they've got to bundle it. If there is one fee that gets me Apple TV, the Apple News subscription thing, which has New York Times and other crap in it, and then they throw in Apple Music, and then it's got iCloud storage, and it's got et cetera, and they throw... That might entice me, but I think just, we have this new show starring big actress, and we have this new show from hot director, and I'm like, okay. Not really interested.
Yeah, I agree. When that bundle idea was brought up, I was intrigued. But they would have to have a show I really like for me to subscribe, and then I would do what I do now and just unsubscribe when the show's off the air or after I've watched it.
Mm.
Do you think they're going to do like HBO Hulu style thing where they release them on a regular schedule, or do you think you'll get it all Netflix style on one shot? And I think Amazon does this too. Or does Amazon release shows 1 week at a time? I don't remember.
I think everyone's more or less moved to the all-at-once model. I think
not HBO.
Oh, not HBO, but they still have a real channel.
Right.
But I think most of the streaming-only guys, I think, have pretty much gone to the all-at-once model. So I would think that's the case, but I don't know. I will say I do have a big prediction for Apple TV for the Apple TV service.
Okay.
It's going to be free.
Whoa!
And no
that's a hot take.
And no commercials.
That's a hot take.
It's just going to be...
Now, what makes you say this?
Because I think I'm not saying it will always be free. I'm saying it will be free on March 25th when it launches, and maybe free for a while. And I'm not saying like a 2-week free trial. I'm saying legitimately free for the next 6 months or a year, 2 years to build up an audience, and then they start charging for, you know, premium stuff or exclusive stuff or whatever. But I think they see the value in shows only available on Apple devices, maybe even only available on Apple TV devices, at least initially, and use that as a selling point because they are we've seen that they are struggling in the device market. They're making a ton of money in subscriptions and not on devices. And I know you're thinking, well, Sean, does that mean they'd want to charge for the content? I don't think so. I think they use this as a selling point of you have to have an iPhone, you have to have an Apple TV. I mean, if they genuinely believe they have really great shows people are just going to do whatever to see, well, then you have to buy an Apple TV to see it. That's my thought, because I just think if they come out and say it's $5 a month or whatever, it's not interesting. There's not. They have the money to just buy the content and give it away, so why not just do that and instead make the money on? They'll make more money selling more devices than they will charging $5 a pop for this. Is my thought. I don't know what you guys think.
But how many devices do they have left to sell?
Well, but that's their issue, right? Is it's not necessarily new devices, it's people getting rid of old devices and upgrading. And if they say only the iPhone 10 has the content, or the 10s or whatever we're on, you know, it's only on phones running iOS 12 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, then you're kind of forcing people to upgrade. And they could do the same with the Apple News subscription thing as well. I mean, I'm just thinking that's a big problem. That would be one way to fix it. Try to fix it.
Yeah.
Do you think it would be like presumably it'll only be available on Apple TV to start with, as far as devices go? Like, or is that true? I don't know.
Didn't they added AirPlay to all those TVs, or did they add a whole like iTunes access thing to all those TVs?
It was Samsung TVs only have full iTunes. Like, you can browse and buy from iTunes on the Samsung TV. All of the other manufacturers basically picked up AirPlay support.
Yeah, so that I think is an indication that anyone will be able to, like, anyone who has the Samsung TVs will be able to use this.
Yeah, probably.
Going back to the Apple News bit, ever since this has been like a couple of weeks of this being in the rumors that there's going to be some news stuff, I've been looking around, and a lot of people on the subway, like the Apple News app is more popular than the New York Times app on the subway. Yeah, and you know, it's New York, so it's a little bit different. But it's like Apple News and New York Times kind of neck and neck, but I feel like I see Apple News more often, and then undiscernible for everything else. Couldn't recognize it. So I was surprised. Maybe there's a lot to be done there.
I think there's a ton of value in a new subscription service if you can get major publishers on board and not take an enormous cut of the money. Because I think people do want to support news organizations, but you know, they add up quick, and if you can kind of, you know, $5 or $10 get you a large number of subscription, that's where the value comes in. I don't think people want to subscribe to each individually. Certainly.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be hard to subscribe to, like, I don't know, multiple papers. Like, how much reading time do you actually have to dedicate to one or the other? And B, like, I feel like, you know, 80% of the content is the same across the two. Like, obviously the like, maybe the perspective's different or something, but it's interesting.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the cable model, right? I pay one fee to Comcast and I get 100 channels. I'm not always going to watch all of them. I may not watch most of them, but I still want the option. I'm not going to pay for 10 different channels. I'd rather pay you one fee for 100 channels, you know?
Yeah. Interesting.
But I think, I mean, we've seen the rumors. I don't know if we've talked about them on the show that much in depth, but Apple was reportedly asking for an insane cut of the money, as much as 50% from the publishers. which I think is kind of outlandish. So the question is, what partners will they launch with? I mean, will they be small guys? Will they be kind of odd guys? A lot of times when we've seen these media tech partnerships, they're usually kind of not the best group of people because they can't always get the partnerships together. So I'm curious who they'll be working with. I think that'll really make or break the service.
Weird.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah, it should be an exciting event. I mean, we'll certainly have wall-to-wall coverage here on the show in 2 weeks for this. I'm sure by the time we do the show, we will have all pre-ordered our Air Power charging pads.
Oh, man. If that actually comes out, I'm all over it. I am all over it.
Dan's going to order like 5 of them.
Yep.
Can't have too many.
I'm so ready.
And new AirPods because you got to get the wireless charging AirPods.
Yeah, right.
Definitely.
Obvious.
I use the AirPods so much. Man, they're so good.
I live in mine. It's crazy. Excellent product. All right.
All right. Speaking of rumors, Apple AR glasses.
Yes. So we have a legitimate Apple story, an event that's coming up, and now we have an Apple report. AR glasses, augmented reality, could be coming as early as the end of this year. Now, the predictions come in a report published by Economic Daily News that says the glasses could be released as an iPhone accessory and will contain their own display while outsourcing the processing, positional tracking, and networking duties to the phone itself. It would use presumably ARKit, which is built into Apple devices currently. We've heard rumors for a few years that they could be releasing these, maybe AR, maybe VR. Supposedly, this AR headset will be the first to won't be the first to rely on an external phone for its processing power. LG has done a similar thing. Yeah, that's really all we know.
Google Glass, take 2.
I can't imagine this being good enough for me to ever want to use it. You know? Like what would be like the App Store? What kind of things would you even get?
But they said that about the iPhone. And then we found a zillion things to do with it. They're like, oh, it's a thing. It makes calls. And then now we use it 24 hours a day.
Was it really like that?
I don't.
Get in my time machine.
Well, you have to remember, Dan, it's a cellular telephone, it's an internet-connected device, and it's a music player.
No, it's an internet communicator.
It's an internet
Sean,
communicator.
Get it right.
Yes. And so, I'm not going to count it out. I think it's one of those things where they just can't come out and do one of those ridiculous HoloLens style demos where it's like, it's going to change the way we interact with reality. And I'm like, no, just be like, oh, it's a fun little accessory for your iPhone that kind of, maybe you don't use it every day, but you use it occasionally. And
here's a question. How many dollars or how few dollars would it have to be for you to pay to get one?
Oh, man.
Good question. I mean, if you super sold me on it, like if they had the most bomb demo of all time, if they had like a Google Glass skydiving style demo for this thing, and I was like, I have to have these. I mean, I would pay $300 or $400 for them, but that would be if they blew me away. If I'm lukewarm, I'm closer to like I think $200. I don't think it could be less than that. I don't think they're going to come out with a $99 pair of these. I mean, what were the Snapchat Spectacles when those launched? Those were like, what, $129 is what I want to say? And those just had cameras in them.
Yeah. I've never seen anyone have one.
They liquidated a ton of them, so I'm sure they're in the 99-cent store right now. I don't know. What would you pay, Dan?
I would pay, because let's be real, I'm the one who's going to have to get these so we can talk about it on the show.
Oh, for sure.
It's the cross I'm willing to bear. I would pay like Apple Watch prices.
Okay.
Which ends up being like $400, $500.
Yep, I think that's fair.
And I'm curious. The sad thing is that I don't think that the Apple strategy that they had with the Apple Watch of, oh, you get like these different materials and these cool bands has really paid off. 90% of all Apple Watches I see are this one, gray band, aluminum.
Yeah.
So I would be bummed. Like, I feel like the Apple thing to do with glasses would be to make them look really good, but then I feel like they've maybe learned their lesson from the watch that it's not worth it. So they just be like, here, you get your space gray and your silver aluminum glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think, I don't know. There's a difference, as big of a difference between your phone and your watch. There's that difference between a watch and something you put on your face. I've never worn glasses, so I I don't really know. But just thinking about it, there's a really high bar. Yeah. So I don't know if they're set up to succeed, is what I'm saying.
But I would think, and I'm just totally making shit up right now, but if the idea is that they outsource all of the complicated stuff to your phone, which I think is, by the way, a very interesting idea, then it could be small. And theoretically, you could clip it on to existing glasses. Now, that's an interesting idea that I'm on board with.
Oh, if it was like those, the like sunglasses things that my grandpa used to have. He like clipped them onto his regular glasses and they just flip down, flip up, flip down.
Because if you think about, I mean, when you get into glasses, you start talking prescriptions and things start to get really complicated. Sunglasses versus regular glasses and all. The simplest solution would be just clip them on any pair.
That's true. Do you think it would be a tethered thing? Like, would it have a cable going to your phone?
I would hope not. I think that would kill it right there. I mean, Bluetooth has to have gotten good enough by now, right? Question mark? Wi-Fi Direct?
No, I think Bluetooth is probably fine. Is there a new Bluetooth standard?
Oh, there's always a... What are we on Bluetooth 7 now? 6, 7, 5?
I think there's Bluetooth 5. Oh, cool. Well, okay, let's hear. Want to learn about Bluetooth 5.1?
Well, we did. What we did USB 4 last week.
This is the month of standards. Welcome to the ISO Standards Review Podcast.
Yep, we're doing Wi-Fi 6
My
next
name's
week.
Dan.
Yeah.
Hi.
Break it down.
Bluetooth 5. All right, so this was June 2016. Focused on emerging Internet of Things technologies. Blah, blah, blah. Bluetooth 5 provides options that can double the speed up to 2 megabits per second at the expense of range, or up to 4-fold the range at the expense of data rate. So that's interesting. Bluetooth adds functionality for connectionless services such as location-relevant navigation of low-energy Bluetooth connections. Ugh, that's a mouthful. And you know what? You also get your slot availability mask, or SAM as we call it in the industry.
Oh, yeah, you're going to need at least one of those.
Yeah.
So many slots.
You got your high-duty cycle non-connectable advertising. Every good device needs one of those. And, of course, you've got your LE channel selection algorithm number 2. All right? And don't forget about the park state.
Yeah, this is one of those Wikipedia pages where I just sit and think, who wrote this? Someone did.
All right, now let's get ready for Bluetooth 5.1. You got your angle of arrival, AOA, and angle of departure, AOD, which are used for location and tracking your devices. Doesn't say how or why it's useful, but they're used for that. You got your GATT caching, GATT, and this reminds me of Windows XP. Minor enhancements batch 1, sleep clock accuracy update mechanism. Specify the behavior when rules are violated. I like that. I like to specify behavior when rules are violated. And you got some models. Just says models, unit keys, and mesh-based model hierarchy.
I mean, now you're just starting to make stuff up.
So I don't know. Maybe you could make glasses out of that. Maybe you got to put it in the park state first or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but Dan, what level of audio-video distribution transport protocol does it use?
I don't know. Is it Is it the L2 CAP connection-oriented and dedicated channels with credit-based flow control system?
Is that the one with baseband error correction?
Oh no! I think Sean. I think if that's going to work, you gotta get some train nudging going on with some generalized interlaced scanning. You know?
I gotcha.
Yeah. We should remake that scene from Patriot where they're pitching on them on the pipes, but instead read this Wikipedia article.
Sounds smart.
Our internet-connected devices use train nudging and generalized interlace scanning to optimize dual-mode link layer topologies.
It's like a bad episode of Silicon Valley. This is great.
With limited time discovery, our fast data advertising interval delivers audio updates for wideband speech. You can just connect all of these bullets together in any order you want, and it seems to make sense.
It's amazing.
I will say my second favorite thing about this article is the very top, the Bluetooth article on Wikipedia, where it says, this article is about the wireless technology. For the medieval king of Denmark, see Harold Bluetooth. Who's a real person?
I am going to see Harold Bluetooth, thank you very much.
A king of Denmark and Norway. Back in 970.
I think I read about this guy in my book. Oh, he was the one who converted to Christianity. I did read about this guy in my book.
To briefly pivot back to AR glasses here.
Okay.
You know, it's just interesting to me that, you know, do you guys know how long ago Google Glass was announced?
Oh, was it it was like 2010 or 2011, right?
2012, 7 years ago. Think of how far the technology has come in 7 years. And I think that's, Zach in our Twitch chat says, you know, that's really what killed Google Glass, having to have such a large device when we're talking about the clip-on stuff. And I think that is part of it. I'm curious what Apple could do with the technology so, you know, all these years later. Because when we do think about wearable glasses, this is what we think about, is Google Glass. Or like the HoloLens style, big-ass, you know, safety-looking visor thing, you know?
Yes.
But keep it simple, more of a toy. You know, it's kind of like the Apple Watch. It's not meant to be a particularly productive device. You're not going to do a lot on your Apple Watch. It's just a nice accessory. I wonder if they could do that with glasses.
Could be cool.
We'll find out.
I would wear it if I didn't look like a tool.
Well, yes.
Doing it.
That is true. They got to be cool looking. Otherwise, we're going to have another spectacles debacle. Nobody wants that.
Spectacles.
We can squeeze in one more story, or we can head over to Pixland. What do you guys say?
Can we save Facebook for next week and head over to Pixland? Because I think it could be an interesting long discussion, and it's not very timely.
We'll start with it next week, I promise.
All right.
Fair enough. Well, then we're going to move on to Picks. We've got a few here in the rundown. If you haven't seen the show before, Picks is the part where we each bring something we've been enjoying and want to share with the world. And we always come up with some crazy, interesting picks. We'll just do them in order this week. I'm going to jump in and go first. And mine is a little bit of more of a... I've done a couple of these lately, which isn't nice. But it's more of a category than a specific pick. But I'm going to make it anyway. Have you guys tried any fast food ordering apps? And I know you're big city people.
I used to use them more when I was in Manhattan, but yes.
I'm obsessed with these.
Wait, fast food ordering apps?
Yes.
Maybe I don't know what you're talking about.
So most of these sort of restaurants with drive-thrus now have apps. McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, Taco Bell, all these places have apps, and they're friggin' awesome. They're so great because you can put in the order a minute before you get there or an hour or 2 hours before you get there. And the order is always perfect because you order in the apps and they have coupons and stuff. Of course, they also track everywhere you go and everything you buy. But other than that, you get good coupons and stuff. And then it's great because you just show up and you can either go inside and tell them, or you can go through the drive-thru and you just go to the drive-thru and you say, I have a mobile order. And they know because of the GPS on your phone. They say, hey, are you Sean? And I go, yes.
What?
And they go pull up to the window. And then you don't even, because you've paid in the app, so you don't give them any money. And you just get your food and you go. It's bonkers. It's so, and what's great is you can like crazy customize everything. So I've done like, you know, they have that new quarter pounder at McDonald's, right? With the fresh beef. You know, it's really great. I recommend this. You get lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise on there, which it doesn't come with. Make it like a full burger. Much better. But you do it through the app.
So wait, now
Yeah.
you said you order it an hour ahead of time.
You can order it anytime.
And it doesn't cook till you get close enough to
No,
it
because
or
it's
something?
fast food, so it's really the same time as whether you placed it at the speaker or you did it through the app. This wouldn't work with a real restaurant, but because they cook the food so fast anyway, you're not really saving time, you're just saving money and convenience, and customization is really what you're getting.
I see.
Why are you getting customization?
Well, just because the app gives you more. Well, A, they're not going to mess it up because they don't hear you right over the speaker, but also it gives you, what I have found is, especially Taco Bell is really good for this, they give you options you didn't even know you had. Because you're like, oh shit, I can put guacamole on that. Oh shit, they'll grill that or bake, it's just like they have a million options you didn't even know were there. You can go crazy customizing stuff. It's a lot of fun.
See, I thought you were saying it was like a location always on thing, and so they started making it when you were like close enough to the restaurant or something.
Then they did it speculatively because they know that like most of the time Sean will go to the restaurant and they'll just eat the cost when he doesn't.
But you know what? But they do. It actually is location always on, because what they do, and this happened to me, where I was out running errands and I was like, oh, I'm just going to grab some Chick-fil-A on the way to the house because I just don't have time and no food in the house. And I passed a Chick-fil-A going to my Chick-fil-A because I was going the one closer to my house. And the GPS was tracking me because I had already placed the order. And they're like, oh, do you want to pick it up from the Chick-fil-A you're about to drive by instead? And I'm like, no, I'll keep it at my original one. Thank you. But they were like, they were tracking me once. Now you can like close out of the app and your order is still good and stuff. But once you place the order, the GPS is tracking you because they want to know when you get there, even though it doesn't automatically trigger. I think that's what prompts it up on the screen. So when you pull up, they know it's you.
Oh, I see. That's so weird.
It's great. I mean, look, it's creepy and it's invasive, and I'm sure they're selling that information to advertisers, but I get cheaper food and more accurate food. It's not good food because it's fast food. But anyway, I recommend if there's a restaurant you really like, see if they have an app and give it a shot.
Oh, wow.
It's a lot of fun. Great for drive-thrus.
I don't have, so can I go next?
Yes, please.
We're done. So I don't have a real pick, but I just before the show finished watching, Emily and I finished watching Russian Doll.
Oh.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Hard to talk about in any capacity, but it was pretty good. So that's all I have to say.
And they really
I'll
stuck-
Give me a little bit of a pitch. Give me something here.
It's a little bit so Groundhog's Day premise, right? This woman is reliving the same day.
Oh. Wait, what Groundhog Day am I thinking of?
The one with Bill Murray is what I was referring to.
He's reliving the same day?
Have you never seen Groundhog Day?
I guess I don't remember it having any sort of, philosophical message or anything at all. I just remember it being funny.
Oh, you should definitely rewatch that. That's a great movie.
It's the one with the groundhog, right?
I don't...
No.
Well, actually, I was about to say there's not another Bill Murray movie with a groundhog, but there actually is. It's called Caddyshack.
That's what I'm thinking of. I was like, really? I'm pretty sure I remember how that movie
The
goes.
one with all the golf in it? Oh, no. That's... Wow, what are the odds of that? That is very... No, the other one. No, there's a movie called Groundhog Day with him and Andy McDowell. And he's a weatherman, and he's a jerk, and he has to live the same day over and over and over and over again.
No, I haven't seen this.
Okay,
movie,
so
but...
go see Groundhog Day, and then watch Russian Doll, and it will make a lot of sense.
Mm. To be fair, I haven't seen Groundhog's Day.
What?
I did watch Russian Doll. I still liked it.
This is out of control. No, Russian Doll is great, and they stick the landing too, which I was worried they weren't gonna be able to live out the premise, and I thought they stuck the landing well. It's a great show.
You watched a TV show?
I did. That was a rare one, and I watched it when it came out because I saw the trailer for it, and I'm like, this is definitely in my wheelhouse, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Wow. All right, well, that's as good of an endorsement as I'm going to get.
Strong stamp of endorsement. Good pick. Alrighty, Dan, take us home.
Okay, so this is one of the picks I'm most excited about. It is a podcast. I do not endorse. Okay, so let me talk about this podcast. It's called Hardcore History. I've only listened to 4 or 3.5 episodes. It's a podcast about history, as you might imagine.
Mm-hmm.
But how many hours do you think those 4.5 episodes constituted?
Well, judging by the length of this episode that you linked us to.
Oh, you already peaked?
Yeah,
Sure.
I won't guess though. I'll let Sean guess.
Unless he already peaked.
I already peaked. But honestly, with the way that my podcast feeds in general have been heading, I feel like they all have just gotten longer and longer and longer.
Yeah. So each episode is about 4 hours long, which is great. So I can just have it on. I often listen to it before I'm going to bed, not because it's particularly boring, but just because it's so long, and I can I don't even need the whole story. It's just really like a series of vignettes. But anyways, the series I've been listening to is called Blueprint for Armageddon, and it is about World War I, which I realized is not something I know a lot about.
Sure.
I know, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, trench warfare, chemical warfare, something, Germany, United States entered the war, Woodrow Wilson. That's it, right? But there's so many, bizarre things that happened in World War I that I didn't know about, so this show gets into all of them. Like, the kind of wild pacifism that all the kings were advocating for prior to World War I, because they all saw, how the technology was advancing. You'd have a war every 10 years, and it just kept getting worse. And so there was, this attempt at the Geneva Convention to pay off, and it's just... That part was really interesting, because you don't think of emperors as, giving a crap about their subjects. When the war starts, you've got that famous picture, I don't know if you've seen it, with the horsemen, the cavalrymen. He's got his little fancy uniform, he's got his spear, and he's got a gas mask on. This sort of weird blend of the old world and the new world.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of really interesting stories about those two things colliding. This naval battle where each navy was using guns that were so much bigger than the last time they fought a war that they were afraid to get close because they didn't know how far the enemy's guns could shoot. So they're just lobbing shells at 18-mile range, not hitting anything. And then they can't see anything because the smoke from the steam engines in all the ships obscures their view anyways. It's a bunch of stories like that, a bunch of really human, Ken Burns-esque stories about one particular person's experience at, one battle. It's not exhaustive because he only goes over a couple battles and talks mostly about, the themes and, what was the difference between 1914 and 1916 and 1918. And also... You picture the Western Front as being all trench warfare, and it was, but then there's the whole Eastern Front, which was not like that at all, and Americans, we don't hear about that part ever. So, some of them cost money, apparently. This one doesn't, at least right now, so pick up Blueprint for Armageddon for free on the podcast apps.
Yeah, Dan Carlin's Hardcore History, wherever you get podcasts. And we'll have the link on the website, of course, as we always do. For that, something to listen to on top of this show. You know what else folks should be listening to?
Up for Debate?
Up for Debate, our movie draft, just published today. So now available wherever you get podcasts. Check it out now. The 2019 Summer Movie League is up and running. These guys, along with all of our other teams, drafted 30 movies last night. A lot of fun. Hopefully these guys feel good about the movies they chose, because they own them for the rest of the summer. We're going to see who can get the most at the box office. We'll be trying it all summer long. You can get it now at upfordebate.tv or wherever you get your podcasts. Already a great start for the Gooper Troopers. $153 million from Captain Marvel.
Damn.
Yeah, the more I think about it, I think they're the favorite.
I mean, that John Wick 3, Aladdin, Secret Life of Pets 2. It's an interesting mix. I just think Avengers Endgame, I mean, if that does well enough, I think everyone else just might be too evenly spread.
Mm.
And then I think Detective Pikachu Lion King is an interesting mix as well.
Detective Pikachu. Oh boy.
We'll see if people go out and see it. But anyway, that's a great episode. You should go check that out. You should also check out our website, don'tpanic.io. It's got all of our episodes, the audio and the video there. The links to the pics are there as well. And also information on how to subscribe to us wherever you get podcasts, on Apple Podcasts, Overcast, Spotify. We're in all the places. Video version on YouTube as well. And of course, you can follow us at Don't Panic Show on Twitter and email us don'tpanicshow@gmail.com. We will be back next week, starting with the big Facebook Mark Zuckerberg privacy story and getting excited for the Big Apple event in 2 weeks. You're not going to want to miss that. On behalf of Colby and Dan, I am Sean. Thanks for joining us as always. What a pleasure it's been. And we'll see you next time for more tech news and fun nonsense on another Don't Panic.